Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be doing mystical hands. I've been doing these mystical hands for 2 decades. And basically we're going to trace our hand and we're going to collage it. And I'm going to show you a quirky way to do it that's actually different from any way I've done it before. You can pick a theme. This theme is romance, sort of a mythological romance. This is harder to see, but this is my childhood, pictures of me, and it had to do with healing. Excuse me. And this was a money hand. You see the coins? So basically, that's what we're doing today, and I'm just showing you a few. This is another romance one. See the heart, the couple. I don't know what the theme of that one is. This one, for some reason, is my favorite one. And see, I've actually put some text in there as well. All right, so we're going to start with our materials. And again, there will be a list of these materials. First, we're having black watercolor paper, but you can use white watercolor paper. I would suggest watercolor paper just simply because it holds the paint differently than just multimedia paper. I have my stencils, and again, I probably have 40 or 50 stencils, and I'm choosing the ones that appeal to me today. Again, that's super important. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about your choices the day before. You show up for the moment and you pick what you're feeling in the moment. That's the best way to get the best art out of you, is to be where you're at that moment. And there's no wrong way to be. So if you're in a crappy mood, be crappy while you do it. It's all good. That's what I love about art. Okay, and I have several paint brushes. They're all very dry. Remember, when we do stencil work, we want the paint brushes to be very dry. For part 2, you're going to need an X-Acto and a pair of scissors. And all of these materials will be listed. And this is Mod Podge. It's a way to glue them down and to shellac it on top. Okay, so we're going to do this a little bit differently. So what I was grappling with when I started this course with you guys was, I don't know how many of these images are copyrighted. So I did not want to put out there a course where you have to use images that you shouldn't be using. I'm an artist and I don't want people using my images without paying me or permission. So we're going to do this a little differently this time so that we don't have to worry about images. We're going to create our own images. Da 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 da, da 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 da. Okay. And we also have the one essential tool, our art rag. Okay, so we're just going to pick any stencil that appeals to you. I, for some reason, am finding these circles. So these circles appeal to me because it feels like the gears of your brain, right? But then I was also appealed to this heart stencil. So I'm like, the brain and the heart, the brain and the heart. That's interesting to me. I'm not going to analyze it any further. I'm just going to start to painting. And again, do the same thing. Pick any one of your brushes. For this exercise, it doesn't matter. You can use cheap brushes. You can use house painting brushes. As long as they're dry, you can use any brush. So what am I feeling? I feel very blue here. So I'm going to take some blue and I'm going to mix it with some white. And I'm a little messy. I'm a lot messy. This easel is how messy this palette is how messy I am. So I'm mixing it with white so it will show. You have to press down so it doesn't bleed. And it's just so much fun because you just get to paint right over, isn't it? Isn't it fun? You just get to paint right over it. You get to be messy and sloppy, and it does not really matter, does it? Okay. So we're painting over this, and I'm going to show you the results. And a lot of times, of course, I don't know the result of anything. Oh, look at that. Ooh, baby. That is stunning. I actually find that quite stunning, and I want to do more of that. And I want to do more of it in blue, so I'm going to do more over here right now because I'm feeling it. So I wanted to tell you the story behind Mystical Hands. I gave up journalism and then missed it years later, a few years later, and went back to it. And the universe really didn't want me to be doing journalism because, you know, it's just so negative reporting all the time, and that gets into your psyche, especially if you're highly sensitive like most artists are. And so I went back because I missed my career and I missed having the income I was having. And my arms gave out with what they call thoracic outlet syndrome. And basically, I could never work in a newsroom again. But during the healing process, I started doing Mystical Hands. And I wouldn't even have considered myself an artist at that time. I just started doing it because I couldn't work and I was bored. But it was more than that. The way I see this process is that we're actually drawing up from your soul and your psyche into your hands. We're pulling your soul into your hands. That's what I think Mystical Hands does. I think it pulls your soul into your hands so that you can be a creative person. So now I'm wiping the dry brush. I am not putting this in water until I'm ready to clean it. But you make sure you clean it soon after this project, right after this project. I'm going to pick a different brush, one that's clean, because we don't want them wet at all. We want them completely dry or the stencils mess up. Okay, another interesting circle thing. So I'm going to, see that's still wet, but I want it to overlap. So I'm going to put it gently there. And you know what? I'm sensing an orange. Okay, so think of this process as you're doing it, as pulling your creative inner child into your hands, pulling your soul and your heart into your hands. I do not like this orange. It's not the same brand that I usually use, and I don't like the way it lays down, so I'm going to add the red to it to give it more meat. Yeah, there it goes. It doesn't lay down very well on the paper. Okay, but this does, and this is exactly what Mama wants. And again, I'm really fascinated with this, the gears of the brain. This reminds me of like how our brain has all of these gears. And what I want to do is stop my brain and engage my soul and my heart. And that's this exercise as well. Ooh, look at that. Mm-hmm. Now they're similar, right? But different. And I think I dig that. I think that's groovy. Okay, so again, because I've got so much orange on this brush, I don't want to waste it. So I'm going over here to my other stencils, and I'm going to use the orange in another area just to use it and not waste it, but also because I think that will be cool. So I'm using the orange here. These are little stars. And to me, it's like that moment of epiphany when you have like epiphanies, right? Like they're little stars in the brain, little explosions in the brain. And that's kind of, I think, the little bit of energy I'm trying to get there. But all of this is, you know, blah, blah, blah analysis. It's all a bunch of analysis when in fact, just paint. You don't have to analyze. I like to, but you don't have to. So now I'm taking the yellow. I'm going to put some white in it, and we're going to brighten this up a little with some yellow. Too much white. Too much white. No, that's perfect now. So I'm putting white and yellow together. There's a little bit of red on that brush, which is good because it'll give it a little bit of an orange tinge. The other thing I want to say is that I'm mixing the same colors in with each other on purpose because that creates a cohesion. So I'm going to use the blue and the red next to keep creating a cohesion. Okay, let's see what kind of stars we have now. Whoa, yay. I can feel it, baby. I can feel it. This one's hard because the holes are so tiny that you just have to keep going over it and over it to actually get the effect. There we go, right? Okay, so now we're doing this project for Mystical Hands. So I'm not really caring particularly about composition or anything. I'm just laying down some different designs. But it would be fun to maybe even do a composition. use the stencils to make a landscape if you want, like a very, very abstract landscape. Okay, here we go again, keeping the brush dry. I'm not going to put it in water yet, although I will have to remember to do so very soon. Okay, not using that one. Here's a good one. Okay, so now I really want to get my heart stencils in here. See, this is the problem with stencils. They're all over the place. I really want to get my hearts in here. I want my hearts in here. So I place that there. And it really, for me, I know it's a cliche, but it doesn't have to be red. But for me, I'm like, I really want this to be actually, yeah, I do want it to be red. But I want to make sure I put the red and the blue together at some point, which I haven't done yet. So I'm going to take a little of the blue and put it in there because I want this all to tie together a little bit more. And you know, you do that by making sure every color is kind of mixed with every other color, if that makes sense. So I'm putting so much red in here you can't see the blue, but you're on an almost unconscious level. Your mind can see that blue and how it ties to the other blue and creates a cohesive psychological pattern. I'm making these words up. You know, that's what art is. You get to make stuff up. Pardon my French. And this, I love these hearts. I've used them before. So I would say this too. If you get stencils and you haven't done my other workshops online here that involve stencils, you know, play with them before you use them. You'll see which ones you love. When you play with them, and you know what, I'm going to just paint right over that and see what that does. Maybe something interesting. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's not interesting at all. That's okay too. We don't have to strive for anything here. We can be easy and have fun and not take it so seriously. Okay. So, ooh, to me that looks like lips. That looks like lips over that. So it's like the brain and lips are like sensuality and intellectuality. Spirituality and intellectuality. That's the way I'm seeing it. Okay, so what I'm really feeling is the need for really some bright yellow on this. Now, I am not digging the hearts as much this time. Isn't that interesting? Even though I used it. So I'm going to pick a different stencil I wasn't planning on using, but I'm going to use it. Now, they always stick together. So I'm always spending most of my time getting them apart. Okay, I really love this one. For those of you who've seen it in the other courses, this is like one of my favorite ones. I just love it. So we're going to take the blue and the yellow, and we're going to make a really groovy green. We're going to use all of that because I don't know, I'm being called to the green, and for me, the green in this one is growth. I don't know. You know, I'm analyzing it. You don't have to. You can just lay paint down. It's all good. Just go with what you love. And I love this stencil, so I'm going with it. Okay, let's see what we got. What we have here. Oh, yeah. That's what I wanted. That is what I wanted, I have to say. So to tell you the truth, I'm going to place this one to line up with that one so I can put a little bit more over here. You know, just keep it lined up just for fun. Doesn't have to be lined up. Just doing that for fun. Again, no wrong way to do this. Okay, here we go. Up the road to the birthday party. Okay, so I want to put a little bit more. So funny, I don't like that part. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're going to see what fun we're going to have. So I'm going to take this stencil and I'm going to use a different color on it. And that will give us a different from blue, I mean. And that will give us an echo. Another interesting thing to do when you're painting this is to echo the shapes. You can echo the colors, you can echo the shapes, you can echo the blank spaces, the empty spaces. Lots of echoing makes for good, fun art. Okay? Oh, yeah. Oh, now see, I like that. So let's do that more up here. For some reason, it really is the circles that appeal to me. So to be honest with you, if I did this project again, if this were my own art project, I would probably put this one aside and do it again with it in mind that I'm really loving this and this orange. So because I really love that orange one, I can't find it. There it is. Oh my gosh. Hello. Because I really love both of those circles, I am going to go up here and put a few more circles. There's not much space. I'm looking at how to do that. You see, I already have them there. So I'll just put one right here. I'll just put one right here and see if I can get another color over on top of that. And see if I can get that shape to show right there. Yeah, actually, I like that. I'm going to do one right here because I can. That's the only reason, and I like it. I like that, don't you? Kind of echoing around. So I'm going to put one right here. So I'm just going to go right over what I painted before and just do another. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Okay, I'm going to do one right here. Ooh, I like that a lot, how that yellow is popping. It's popping it out. Oh my gosh. I really like that. I'm going to put one here because that's a little messy to me. See, and I'm not fussy. I don't fuss around with it. I just go for it. And then I'm going to put one here. And then I think we're going to call it. And now, I want one more. Can I have one more? Can I please have one more? This is how I sing when I'm painting. Okay, now, Groovalicious. Now we're going to let that dry.